I was thinking about human nature, and I want to get to the biblical question, but I realize more and more every day, all the time, that human nature is wicked. There's no good in human beings at all. You can look and search until the cows come home. There's nothing real about human beings, and there's nothing good about human beings. And I'm watching the media right now, and it's amazing how they're treating one another. It's mind-blowing. It's just all about self, and that's human nature. I was counseling with a couple, 2 or 3 couples this week, and I realized the guy didn't care nothing about the woman. Zero. And I could see that she cared about him emotionally, but he cared nothing about her. Everything he was saying to her was pretense. But she is so emotionally attached to him, she doesn't see that. And it's awful. But human beings are. If you work on yourself, as you're working on yourself, you will see that. You can't trust your own husband or wife, your own mother or father, your own nothing. You can't really trust yourself. Human nature is evil. Where you really can't trust your own nature, that's for sure. That's for sure. So I was thinking about, I heard this is not me, I heard someone say once that they had met this a police chief, and this police chief ran a quiet town, He was the chief of this town. And in that town, he had drawn a line that no one can cross. And this line was all the way through the town. And no one could cross. And then on the other side of the line, not the town, not the area where the police chief lived, people lived on that side of the line, and all they ever did was fought one another. They fought over food, they were drunk, they were gossiping about each other, they were just a mess. They hated each other, they were judging each other. The one that lived on the other side of the line, they were not allowed to live in the town. And so everybody was wondering, well, why is it that this sheriff has control of his town, meaning that there's no violence, there's no backbiting, there are no hungry people, there are no black people, white people, anybody. It was just perfect peace. And the people got along, so the sheriff didn't have anything to do. He just stayed home all the time, or went and walk around. And people wonder, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And so the sheriff invited some of the people to come and take a look, and so that they could see why he had perfect peace in his town, and right across the road, it was nothing but hell. Families didn't get along, everything happened. And so some people went to look, and the sheriff was taking them around town, and the people would stand and look over at the other town, and the people were fighting, drunk people walking around, homeless people walking around, begging and stuff, and it was a mess. And so the sheriff was like, just wait for a minute, I want you to see something. And so there was this homeless bum kind of guy, kind of drunk and out of it, and walking around that other town there. And this homeless guy accidentally crossed the line into the sheriff's town. He crossed the line. And the moment he crossed the line, everything that he was doing ended. He was no longer drunk. He was no longer a homeless person. He had a sound mind. He was nothing but of love. He was free. And then the people were like, wow, what happened? And the homeless house, the police said, hold on a minute, don't worry. And the guy walked back across the line into Helltown, right? Into Yaltown. And And right away he became a drunk again. He became homeless again. He was staggering about out of it, just out of it. And then the homeless guy decided it felt good to be on the other side of town, other line. And he came back over to the line and was sound-minded again. And the whole point was, when you go unconscious, you become that person. But when you're conscious, you're not that person. You're free, you have no problems, you're not looking for love, you're not an alcoholic, not a drug addict, and you have perfect peace. But every time you drift off into a state of unconsciousness, you become that again. And I hear from a lot of people, oh, I had no anger at one time, but then I got angry again. But the only thing there was a young man that called my show and he said, oh, I went back, I started back having sex again. I don't know if y'all heard it on the radio show. And he said, I didn't want to do it, but I just started doing it. The woman didn't even want to do it. I do it. And now I've lost it, something like that. And I said to him, don't worry about it. Just come back to consciousness. Be present and all is well. And it made sense to him. And so the moral of the story, you got to practice being present. You got to practice staying present rather than lost in your head with this false idea of who you are, because they're just ideas. They're not real. But because you're unconscious, you live over the other side of the line where all the crazies are. Fighting with people, worried about what people think about you or say about you, worried about this or that. You got to cross into consciousness and stay there, and you're going to see you have never had any problems and you don't have problems. There's no such thing as a problem. It's all a lie too, it's made up because you're unconscious. So you got to practice it. And in the beginning, you're going to fall in and out of it. You're going to feel free. You're going to be free when you're conscious. And the moment you become unconscious again into your thought, you're going to feel like you got problems. Oh, Lord, I fall back into hell. Nobody love me, this and that. You got to practice being conscious. This is why God said to pray without ceasing. And all that he's saying is to stay present. And that's what prayer is, to be present. It's not just when you're laying down doing a prayer or sitting up or when you, just before you go to bed. It has to become life, a way of living. Because all the other time you're living unconsciously, you're living in darkness. You might as well start living in the light rather than in the darkness. And it's so interesting to live in the light. You realize everything was never true. You know, I think about it, I'm like, what? It was never true. All these years you wasted being angry, blaming others, looking for love, making babies out of wedlock, blaming people for your color, blaming people for this or that you don't have. It's all an illusion. It's not even real. Isn't that crazy? I'm like, what? It's not real. It's an illusion in your imagination. And you just believe the darkness rather than the light. There is light. It does exist. And it is inside of you. And you, men and women, can be in control of your own world. And the world can't touch you. They will try, because they're still in darkness and they don't understand that you can see them. And they will try to hurt you, but they won't be able to touch you. You will have no response to the world, because that's darkness. You don't need to argue with the world about anything. Nobody about anything. You can literally lay your weapon down and let the light fight your battle for you. Really, I'm telling you. And that's why I tell you, whatever needs to happen to your ego, let it happen. Don't fight back. Don't fight back. Let it happen because it's not happening to you. But you think it is because you are one with your ego, your evil nature. And you're calling it you. Christ came that we can overcome that. He died from it so that we can die from it. And you can't die if you want life. You got to die from this old mindset, all these emotions and stuff. And let everybody else have their problems. Don't try to save anyone from their problems. The Christians, the people that like love, try to save, and you end up getting destroyed. You can't save another person. You're not supposed to even feel one thing about another person. Period. If they suffer, let them suffer. They want to suffer. And then they'll say, oh, loan me some money. In the family member or friendship. They'll be in debt or something. They have some type of problem because they didn't pay a bill or something, or little kids. My kids are hungry. Loan me some money. Or I got to pay this debt. I'm going to lose my house, they say, right? And you'll go and give them money, and then they'll rob you. They never pay you back. And then next time you see them, where's my money? I ain't got no money. Why you asking me for money? It was my money. They think you crazy. Oh, another thing, don't cosign for anybody. Anybody ever done that? Yeah. Cosign?
I did.
You did? How did it turn out?
It went well.
They paid you for it back? Or they paid for it?
It was my daughter, so I co-signed for some for her, and she got over it.
Or you had
I just wrote it off as a gift. And
so she didn't pay. You had to end up paying it.
Yes.
For your daughter, see?
Yes.
Not even for your daughter, don't co-sign.
I learned that lesson many years ago.
See, that's his own daughter. When people say, will you co-sign for me? They're telling you, I'm not responsible. I didn't even take care of my own bill. That's why I'm in this situation. And they definitely not going to pay you back. When they say, will you co-sign? They're saying, I'm not going to pay you back. But you try to be nice, and you end up with someone else's debt, and now you're stuck. And they don't care that you're stuck. Really, they don't care that you got to pay that bill. It's your bad credit you're messing up. Well, a mess, huh? But anyway, still cross the line into the light. Don't cross into the darkness. And when you do cross into it at the beginning, just come back into the light, and all is well. Isn't it? I'm sorry?
What's cosigning?
Oh, he doesn't even know it. Really good, Nick. Tell him what cosigning is.
Cosign is that when the person who wants to get a loan, say for a car, does not have enough money down or good credit in order to sign for it. So me, as being dad, I had enough money down and also credit to co-sign for her.
And then when they don't pay that loan back, which at some point they're not going to pay it back, the one that co-signed, they're now responsible for that loan. He's stuck with the loan. And the daughter don't care. She got her car. Amazing, huh? So never co-sign. Not even for your own children. I would never co-sign for my own children. No. Suffer. Let people... Really, if you love them, you will let them suffer. If you hate them, you will try to bail them out. Anytime you try to stop another person from suffering, it's because you hate that person. That's why you're trying to stop them. Because if you love them, you will let them suffer. And then maybe they may wake up and see reality, wake up and start seeing what's going on with themselves. But you save them from waking up. You keep them in darkness because you don't love them. You don't love them at all. Human beings do not have, one thing you could bank on, you can put crypto on. Human beings do not love you, and you don't love them. You don't love them. Isn't that amazing? Any question about crossing the line or anything? Yes.
So about prayer, pray without ceasing. When I do the silent prayer, I could see my thoughts talking, and I'm aware of it, right?
Right.
And now I'm noticing throughout the day, even without doing it, I could see it talking, and that's essentially praying without ceasing.
Absolutely. Where you can see what's happening inside of you.
Okay.
Paul said, I die daily, and he had become aware of what was happening in him. And seeing it, those shocks and those the misery that would come through him, the shocks of being shocked about something or something like that. When you can see those shocks, when you see yourself getting mad, or see yourself being all glad, or see yourself becoming sad because you think something has gone wrong, or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband leaving you, when you can see those things, that without resistance, put up no resistance, that's the solution to the problem. Seeing it without resistance is the solution.
Seeing without resisting. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It clears it up.
So don't fight against it.
I will not.
Okay.
And
Amazing.
I notice paying attention to the stomach helps.
Yeah,
You know?
your inner nature, old nature is what you need to pay attention to.
Okay. And then the pain on the stomach is obviously the old nature, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The old nature, the pain is the old nature dying and doesn't want to. And it feels like it's you, but it's not.
I see. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.
with it.
I will.